So it's recording. I think you can start.
Wonderful. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining in this session. Today, I'll be talking about entrepreneurship and sensors and how this typically appeals to the younger generation and how we can see what are the various opportunities that we have. So I would like to thank the IEEE Sensors Council and the IEEE Kerala Section for inviting me for this session. A special thanks to Devi Krupa for all the follow-ups that she's been doing and following up with me. Thank you, Devi Krupa. And good evening to all the students and faculty members and others present on the bridge. So this is a rough outline. We'll first talk about a few things that I've been doing. And then we'll talk about what is entrepreneurship and how is it relevant. We will look at the importance of ideation. Then we'll look at some of the prominent institutes in South India where students definitely can network and work through. What are the various funding from the state government and the central government? And what are the important key takeaways that you can have? So you'll probably see this in roughly in two parts. One part will be entrepreneurship and the second part is going to be sensors. So a quick brief about me. I have been in the semiconductor industry along with the sensors from 2008 onwards, where I have worked in the industry and also did my PhD from the Indian Institute of Science, where I got to do some amazing, interesting works, some of which I will briefly touch upon going forward in this session. And you are free to ask questions at a later stage in the presentation. So in a quick brief, it gives on the left hand side, you will see the various roles that I have carried forward and what are the various companies I've worked with and some of the interesting projects that I have carried forward in the last 17 years of my journey. And these are the various nodes at which I have taped out circuits and tested also the silicon. And it's been a pleasure working in the semiconductor industry, learning many facets at different points of time. These are the various roles that I play, and I see that I foresee a lot of these people who are on the bridge today also might be playing various roles similar to what I have or even much more. One of them is that I really treasure is about a speaker, leader, being an educationist, and primarily an entrepreneur. And all of these gives different experiences in life, and they teach you different things in different ways. And it is truly a pleasure, and I treasure these moments very well. Who's an entrepreneur? Entrepreneur is defined as one who organizes, manages, and assumes the risks of the business or the entire enterprise. So if you see, entrepreneurs should have a team or the leadership quality, the assertiveness that they have, what is the amount of risk tolerance that they can take. All of these are built on the base of the knowledge, the innovation index, and the business capability of a person. Generally, all of these are put into one particular person. But sometimes it also is important to find the right team who complements you and fulfills your other activities that go into running a company or go into running a business. So what are the 5 pillars for entrepreneurship? This is something which I encourage all of you to follow carefully. The first one is education. You really need to have good education about what you're doing, how you're doing, and what your background brings. Also, education not just really understanding that going to college or going to school and learning about it. Education also means the life education, the social education, one that is not taught within the 4 walls of the other classroom. This is one which society teaches you. You are meant to be educated there. So there's a difference between literacy and education. So a person could be very well literate, but he may not have the right education for the space. So it is important to differentiate between being illiterate and being educated. Second, training. Once you get the education, you need to also have the right training to execute the activity, to build the activity. Training is important when you're looking at specific knowledge base, hands-on experience, if not at least learning from the experience of the others. Ecosystem. It is extremely important to be within a good ecosystem where entrepreneurship or support for the entrepreneurs is provided. Support can be financial, legal, physical, and sometimes it is also in the ways of advisory committees and also for mental health as well as moral support. All of these form the ecosystem. No amount of emphasis given to networking can be said or can be felt as made important. Wherever you go, you will always find people and you always need people to help grow your system, to help understand your system and ensure how they can take things forward. Finally, the sales. You could have probably the best idea in the world, but if it does not sell and it does not get revenue, then that idea is not the right idea or the product is not the right product. At times, having none of the other four matters if you have very good sales. And sometimes none of the other four matters if you absolutely have no sales. So many startups kind of fail themselves by not having the right sales model or not having sufficient revenue generated. Sales is possibly one of the oldest works or jobs that is known to man. So if you are good at sales, you can always help any industry work, grow, and develop. So going a little more into detail, what do we mean by entrepreneurial education? Entrepreneurial education typically consists of a good practical experience and learning, involve real-world entrepreneurs around you who help you build knowledge, skills, and the interest. In the ecosystem for entrepreneurs, you need support at crucial stages in the business life cycle. A lot of the time, the rules and regulations set by the government and the ministry can become a burden. So the ecosystem should help you reduce the regulatory burden. Many of the times, having insufficient finance doesn't help you scale well, doesn't help you grow well. So ecosystem also should provide access to finance and access to money which you can utilize. Networking is extremely important, where you try and reach out and mobilize a lot of people and you get to see a lot of untapped potential. There are a lot of seniors and young people who would be willing to join in your journey. Appealing to them right and ensuring that they are well matters. Please understand there's always going to be a lot of unemployed and migrants people around you. And if you are in an international economy, you will see a lot of migration happening from different countries into your country or into your geography. It's always good to embrace their good and ensure that they are positively helping in your business development or in your startup growth. Now, let me give you an example for people who understand how simple or how difficult entrepreneurship is. Here is an example that I always like to say when you're talking about entrepreneurship is the simple act of organizing a college fest. Organizing a college fest means you're running a startup for a short duration, where there are a lot of things that you take care of. The primary ones are you need to understand how do you manage the funds or how the management of the fest is going to happen. Then you need to ensure what are the various events that can happen or that need to happen to ensure your fest goes well. Then build the right infrastructure to complement the events so that you get enough support. handling of documentation, ensuring you have the right social media experts. The media management plays a big role in ensuring getting the right crowd and also getting the right prospects that future people or any of the sponsors who are coming in, they look at. Then you need to take care of food. So wherever there are people, you need food, and various types of foods have to be looked into. Important funds is to make all of these work, you need funds. So you need to find out if you can get college funds, sponsors, and students, and look for various event partners who are doing all of these events to support you. For example, beauty, food, media, fashion, social media, telecom, staging, music, etc. So when you are operating a fest, you will now see that there is a core group who lead the organization of the fest. This is all the blue boxes where they are now specifically targeting each one of them. And then slowly each one of them is assigned a clear role, and then you execute it. So you could see this is the earliest opportunity all the students can get when you're for a taste of entrepreneurship in College Fest. For example, when I was in my college during my bachelor's times, we used to have a very big intercollegiate fest, and I used to typically participate in two places. One, ensuring working with the organizers and the volunteers, and I used to work with the teams where it works with invitees, where you try and gather the chief guests, judges, and other college participants. I was not very active in the event section because this needs a lot of effort and a lot of big teams. So I used to generally manage these two. And even when I moved to IISc, when we went, I used to predominantly stay in the infrastructures, organizing the main festing, the core group, and doing a lot of management activity working with. But we had some extremely wonderful people who went on, who started with, who are great with literary activities, cultural activities, sports activities. So typically when you have a committee, you have a cultural secretary, sports secretary, and you can delegate the work to them, and they are best at these. So these people understand. So this is how entrepreneurship works. But understand, whatever you do, you need to also be one of the people who gets funds from people. Frankly, this is one place where I did not concentrate a lot very early in my career, especially with when I was in IEEE or when I was at IISc in the work. Started going into it when I started becoming the chair or the vice chair of various societies, and saw the importance of how important it is get funds for your activities. So I used to write funds to the headquarters, IEEE headquarters, write a grant or write a event report, so that based on that, some funds are allocated to you over and above the regular funds that are seen. Right? So this is one good example of how you can see entrepreneurship early in your career. Next comes a very important point where the ability to think and the ability to solve a problem is important. So critical thinking is the sphere that everyone is now spending a lot of time in, which a lot of the industries are valuing, and that is you want to be a problem solver. So when a problem is given to you and a solution is expected, they typically like to know what is the way you think. How are you able to think? Do you have a creative way of thinking, or you have a critical way of thinking? So each one of them has its own perspectives, and then when you come up with a solution, it allows the other stakeholders to give interest in how you can select the solution. Right? I'll probably go upon it more in the next section when we talk about ideation. Ideation, as the name says, is a process of generating ideas based on what is thrown at you. So for that, you use a creative process, right? We look for, rather than critical thinking, we want a creative thinking. And in creative thinking is a methodology for creative problem solving. The way it comes is, you are given a problem, and for that problem, you do some kind of a research. Research can come from two places. You can either be inspired for somebody, or you might see a new vision and ideas coming through. Based on these, you start thinking what works, and then you go into this brainstorming loop where you work with like-minded and unlike-minded people to solve a problem. Like-minded is well understood, but when I say unlike-minded, it is not that these are people who are going to be against your idea. These are the people who are not from your space. For example, I am in the space of entrepreneurship, sensors, and VLSI. But I need somebody from the computer science or the management or the sales domain. So I need to bring in experts or creative thinkers like me into the brainstorming room so that we can brainstorm the various ideas. Then you do a design. Whatever you do the design, and very importantly, you test whether the design works. Based upon that testing and the testing outcome, you go back again to the research and see how the test results and your design results help you navigate newer points. So let me go into each step, that what is design thinking. Design thinking needs you to empathize with people's needs. You need to collaborate with others across disciplines, skill sets, and various perspectives. It is possible to include every idea in the visible form for evaluation. Do not discredit an idea before the evaluation is done. Repeat, iterate, and test the solutions to perfect them, always with the human needs at the center. So this is a very important point. You should understand that it is always human needs at the center and not the business or anything else. Once the human needs are taken care of, rest everything follows. So in a nice way to visualize, this is how the problem solving looks like. So you first need to think about what it is. So in the design thinking phase, you will have the definition, to have empathize with the people, ideate the work, and then prioritize the activity. And once the prioritization is done, you try and build a test prototype. You test it. Then there is a very important phase. After you test it, you have to either scale it or shift it or scrap it. And then work with as much transparency in this loop. If you find that this loop is not sufficient, you need to reprioritize, go back, work in the new loop. Sometimes what happens is when you work, you realize that some more new ideas are expected. So you go back, build a ideate loop. And when you ideate, you realize that some solutions are good from the human perspective, some are not. And when you think they are not, you try and empathize and see what else can be done. So this loop can keep going, but the main problem solution loop is after you prioritize and get the focus activity in one place. So this is how we typically operate as human beings, that when we have a design challenge, all our thoughts are going in different directions and trying and seeing what can be done. It's like a bundled up thread which has got so many knots. But as you start opening each knot, you get some clarity and you start progressing. And this is that phase where most of the knots which are present, they slowly get out. And as the knots get opened up, there is a good amount of clarity and comes up, and you come up with a clean solution at the end of the day. So design always has both a challenge and a solution. And getting the right solution also it depends on what is the right process that you also follow. So with this first half, I would like now to take you through a journey of the various academic institutions and how they have contributed having sensors in their base. I'll start with the Indian Institute of Science, my alma mater. And in this place, there are a lot of new initiatives. FSID, or the Foundation of Society and Innovation Development, is generally the core work where innovation development and startups were there. But in the last couple of decades, new activities have come up. First came the Center for Nanoscience and Engineering, which started a lot of activity, a lot of development on nanoscience, materials, nanotechnology, sensors, devices, and among others. So all this sense, after that, they started the incubation of sense, which is called InSense. So all the ideas which came from sense now started to be incubated in-house. And this incubation facility included legal help, included financial help, included business help, included business development, everything under the roof. So we did not have to look for too far. Once nanotechnology boomed, IISc got into the interest of having AI and robotics, which was called ART. AI and Robotics Technology Park, or called ART Park. This was a facility where anything related to AI, anything related to technology, anything related to robotics came, and a very focused activity came up, and Art Park has developed greatly in the last decade. A very new initiative in the last 3-4 years has been the activity called Geeky. And Geeky is basically an initiative to take care of gallium nitride enablement and ecosystem development. And this has zoomed in a lot of this activity on GAN. And it's faculty, student, and startup initiative driven activity. And you will see a lot of this if you look up IISc's website. So if you look at the FSID's programs, FSID has got some core programs. I'll probably talk about them. Then they have some STEM, which is your science, technology, engineering, and management. Then there is time-based, a lot of collaborative activity where people want to collaborate, come and work. And then seed. This is where your seed activities are happening, where the seed thoughts are germinated, nurtured, and grown. And there are a lot of strategic programs that are developed where you see how each new space, as it develops, can be built and can be scaled. Now, let me go into some more details and try and ask you to spend some time along with me to understand what are the various sensors-based startups that have come up. This is about you will be surprised at the kind of companies which are present and where you can look at. So in this particular slide, we're talking about the various medical devices companies, healthcare, and clean tech companies. So if you look at some of the names that are popularly brought out, you have Scilogic Applied Research, Ether AI Private Limited, Path Shodh Healthcare, Mimic, Shanmukha Innovations, Track Health Technologies. They're all on the medical devices. And in the healthcare sector, you have Agamisec, Centenarian's Life, Pixotics Bioprinting, Rejuvum Therapeutics, Prana Xenotransplants, and Infab. And in clean tech, you have big names like Open Water, NatureWorks, Mitra Increst, and among others. Moving on, many on the energy space, right? You would have heard some of these companies. If not, look at these other companies. So these are all good future companies where you can look for internships, where you can work with them, talk to the startup leaders and see what they want. MedTech has come up really big. You see a lot of MedTech companies, Biasan Labs, Samvedan Technology, Nutapumps, Medrin Bio Private, MagHeals, AI Health Highway. Each of them are defining a specific problem and solving that specific problem in this case. Some of the most commonly used and commonly famous ones are the aerospace work, where you have probably the most famous Bellatrix Aerospace. And you also have Avgard Systems, Astron Technologies, InSpace, Infab Semi, Digantara Research, Sala Aerospace, Akash Labdhi Private Tech. All of these are the aerospace done by students or faculty members or other tech people who have started in the aerospace domain. Then comes semiconductors. Semiconductors and applied materials have got many. So Agya Vision, Agnet, Infotine, Infab, Meerkats, International Center for Nano Devices, it's called ICNAD, or the Molecular Semiconductors, Applied Organic Materials Private Limited. All of these are there from the semiconductor space. Please understand, it is not only the design. Semiconductors includes various devices, processes, making machinery for these processes and among others. Then in biotech, there are three big companies which got a good name during the COVID, where they tried building various vaccine development activities. First was Minvax, Azuka Labs, Equine Biotech, among many others. So if you look at the Department of or the Division of Electrical Engineering and Computer Sciences of IISc, here are the key societal problems that they are trying to solve and the various labs along with that. This may not be related to just sensors, but this is a overall picture that where you can help. For example, upskilling. Edvion is a company which recently reached out to me, and we'll see what we can do with them. Met them in VLSID. Then there is a lot of leisure activities like Lazy. Lazy is a company which started on the ring. He was also one of the presidents of the NIIST, so he's now working pretty well in many places. Then connectivity, you have Astrom and Sankhya Labs. Astrom is building satellites for low Earth orbits, where you can try and build good internet connectivity across many places. Then there's Samkhya Labs, pretty famous for its semiconductor or VLSI design solutions. Then you have the multiple road safety. You will see a lot of these companies which are either with Art Park or with FSID and building. Then for privacy and trust, Zero, Clebert, CoinArt, these are coming up for understanding what the various privacy and trust related software solutions that can be given and product solutions. For healthcare, some of the more famous ones are Niramai, Neurosynaptics, and Mimic. And if you see, all of these are coming out from the academia. PhDs or master students who have built the idea over a very secure systems or ecosystem are very happy to come up and work on these societal problems. And now if you look at the various sectors that academia and in specific IISc has targeted, it is the right hand side are all the big major ones: healthcare, automotive, marketing automation, machine learning services, and business intelligence. But if you look at some of the niche areas on the left hand side, you'll have telecom infrastructure, agriculture, analytics, surveillance, blockchain, software tools, internet infrastructure, cooking appliances, recruitment, media and entertainment, industrial automation, and education. I am trying to go into this space of education. So if people are interested, you can look up my AI in education program on King Consultants, and that is something that we will work for and see what can be done. Now, let us talk about not just IISc. I'll probably showcase some more institutes. And if you look at the IIT Madras Research Park, it is India's first university-based research park, where you will be surprised with the numbers. They have over 480 startups incubated, 190 startups in the market, 2 unicorns, right? Unicorns are $1 billion evaluation. And then you have a cumulative valuation of $8 billion, over 11,000 jobs created by these people. If you want more details, do log in and check at incubation.iitm.ac.in, or you can look at the Research Park, ResPark, iitm.ac.in startups. Amazing activity happening at IIT Madras, and each of them have had really good work. And if you look at the sensors portion, right, there are 2 companies. One is a fiber optic sensor startup for health monitoring called Folium Sensing. Another one is a smart water quality sensors with real-time analytics. It's called Green Environment, which is incubated at the IITMRS Research Park. Much closer in Kerala, if you look at Thiruvananthapuram, IISER, Trivandrum, there is a lab, smart lab by a faculty called Vinayak Kamble. They have developed a lot of room temperature gas sensors using nickel oxide and zinc oxide PN junctions for hydrogen and nitrous oxide detection. Another one is organic semiconductor for pH sensors, which is a flexible, calibration-free, and an organic compound or a P3HT polymer-based sensors. Some more closer down in Trivandrum, if you can see the Indian Institute of Space Science and Technology, or IIST Trivandrum. So they have a huge incubation cell where they have collaborated with Kerala Space Park, K-Space, to foster space tech innovation and entrepreneurship. On that note, they have conducted Astra, which is basically a symposium where the startup symposiums for in the aerospace domain are looking at inputs from ISRO industry to catalyze various sensor tech ventures. A quick name, which are the companies which are incubated or pre-incubated: Vasista Research, Spacetime, Bhupraman, Zero Engine, Spec Rule Scientific, Intercosmos Space Exploration, Flux EV, Space Curve Technology, Hather Rockets. You can see these are all the companies which are all in the space domain with a lot of research and 3D printing and innovative activity. Couple of companies which are trying to look for are AugSense Lab, where you're using augmentation of atmospheric sensors and their validation, and Momentum Space, where you're trying to do small and nano satellites where you can build and launch them. So this is the I want to spend a little more time here because I have worked closely with this gentleman here who is a faculty at IIST Trivandrum, and he has developed indigenous sensors, gas sensors for the space mission, which are basically carbon monoxide sensors for the Gaganyaan, which is a space mission, and a similar platform for methane and ammonia sensors for the URSC Space Satellite Center. A couple of prototypes for all your carbon monoxide, methane, ammonia, and carbon dioxide sensors for various works. His name is Palashda, who used to work in the Indian IAC as a postdoctoral fellow with Professor Navkant Bhatt in here. And his full name is Dr. Palash Kumar Basu in the group of Department of Avionics, where he does this sensor technology. Just a moment, I'm getting a call. I'll just take this call and get back. So you can read up on the various works that he has done, and he also has, along with the other faculty members, developed a clean room and also developed many other facilities at IIST Trivandrum. Next, somewhere close by, this is something which I really like. I'm not sure many people are aware of, but you should probably go visit one of these centers. This is called the National Institute of Interdisciplinary Science and Technology. It is a CSIR lab in the Trivandrum. So they provide a co-working space and IP support for various sensor technology startups, and they have a lot of portable nano sensors for detecting various biosensors. And if you look at their contribution on the right-hand side, their areas of interest are massive and wide. Agricultural waste utilization, biomaterials, building materials, chemical intermediates, environment assessment, mineral processing, materials, photonic, post-harvest technology, clay, spices and oil seeds, waste treatment, specialty chemicals, strategic materials. You wouldn't have even heard of these when you are in the academic space. And this is what the nation wants. And our nation really needs a lot of these materials. And we have many of these CSIR labs globally, in India, nationally, where you're working, with global presence across. I am focusing only on the South Indian labs. But if you look at the various labs, they are huge. This is one other one which I recently met, the Sri Chitta Tirunal Institute of Medical Sciences and Technology, and they have a very, very good program for medtech. So TIMED, which is called the TIMED, which is a medtech incubator, they support medtech startups, provide mentorship, labs, help with IPR and other regulatory aid. Two companies that I would like to call out are Sasken Meditech. They help in optical sensors for oral cancer detection. They were awarded in the National Technology Day. And they have transferred a lot of sensor innovation technologies like the deep brain stimulator, lab animal handling boxes, wound dressing sponges, all sensor related technology which are licensed to the industry and now. So if you see, my last 3 slides were about Trivandrum. And all of these are there with a great emphasis from both the central government and the state government institute. And Sri Chittiranal is basically an institute of national importance under the DST, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. So if you think that you do not have knowledge and what all opportunities are available, here are a few opportunities that are showcased. Just the surface information is present where you can go and gather more information about these and see how you can work, contribute, collaborate, and work with them. Among all of these, Sri Chittiranal is basically one institute which is open to working with a lot of people, so make use of that opportunity. Now we'll talk about some of the funding sources and government policies which are enabling the sensor innovation. Now, if you look at the central government or the union government initiatives, we have the RDI scheme, which is basically DST and ANRF facility, which is a research and development organization, research and development fund. Second is the Semiconductor India program and the PLI scheme. Then there is the Chips to Startup program. Most of them must be familiar. This is where you are able to get a lot of the VLSI and embedded systems work. You are able to get access to EDA tools, IP cores, and prototyping, and also some fab related work. Then there is a DLI scheme, which is for the startups under MeitY, where you've got a product design incentive, where you've got a lot of funds, close to 600 crores funds for 22 chip startups. Then MeitY has given a lot of budget boost, creating a lot of boost in the last couple of years to support the India AI mission, which are targeting compound semiconductors, silicon photonics, and sensor fabs. Then there is DST's GDC Incubate program. This is a joint program which is done by DST and IIT Madras. What it does is there is something called technology readiness levels, and we have TRL levels 1 to 9. Typically, the 6, 7, 8, 9 are the ones where people invest and scale. TRL level 3 to 5 is where they have just crossed the academic proof of concept, and they are now working to understand how to make it bigger. So it is there where you have a deep tech commercialization support available for them, and they go forward. So research to product conversion scheme. And then there is a quantum mission. We're seeing a lot of quantum activity coming, especially in sensing and metrology, where you have multiple rolling calls out for India's top academic hubs in ISD, IISc, IIT Madras, IIT Bombay, and among others. So this is a central government scheme. Now, if you look at the state government scheme, I'll probably highlight a couple of states. Karnataka has the Sensor Tech Innovation Hub. It is a public-private hub launching in Bangalore to advance sensor R&D skills and industry partnership. Along with that, we have the Karnataka Startup Policy. There was one in 22 to go up to 2027. And recently, 2025-32 startup policies came up, where they are offering grants and co-investment fundings and VC patent subsidies, market access, among others. A lot of information is present. Tamil Nadu has come up with Tiny Innovation Fund, where you've got close to 400 innovative projects are being incubated and granted and giving information. Now, with regards to the state of Kerala, if you look at, there is a Center of Excellence in IoT Sensors. Couple of weeks back, or probably last week, there was a big meeting with the Center of Excellence with the DRDO labs. People from the DRDO, they wanted to showcase their activity. So this is a mighty Government of Kerala and CMET, COE Center of Excellence, which was there. Then in Thrissur, you have the Sensor Manufacturing Hub, Keltron and CMET facility for sensor prototyping and chip integration. And you have a lot of sensor research in agriculture or sensor and semiconductor funding, where you're checking for pollution, electronics. So with these, I'll probably share a couple of key takeaways as a last section and why it matters so much for sensor entrepreneurship. Access to structured funding at each stage is important, right from prototype, validation, and marketing. Incentives reduce financial risk and attract a lot of private investment. You get a lot of deep tech IP creation support with incubators and commercial pathways. It helps you and encourages the academia industry collaboration via various tech hubs and center of excellences. And it helps to generate a lot of focused startup friendly ecosystems tailored to sensors and semiconductors. Now, for the key takeaways for the entrepreneurs and stakeholders are: try to leverage academic R&D like you and the incubation support very early. Secure IP guidance and entrepreneurship in residence level mentorship. Focus on domain-specific expertise like high-tech sensors. Collaborate through a lot of government, industry, academia partnerships. And with that, I hope you enjoyed the session on entrepreneurships and sensors. It was predominantly entrepreneurship and how sensors are going to part of it. So thank you very much. I'm now open for questions. Devi Kupa, could you help me with the questions? Or
Yes, so the floor is open for questions. If anyone wants to, you can either put it in the chat box or even turn on your mic. So yeah.
Hello, Javed. Sean here.
hey, Sean. Good evening.
How are you?
How are you?
All good, all good.
Congratulations on the multiple awards that you won this time.
Thank you, man. Thank you. So you're coming on 23rd, right, to Kochi?
Yes, I'll be there.
Okay. When are you going back? So same day,
Same
same
evening.
day.
Same
Oh, is it?
evening.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll catch up. Please be there.
Yeah, sure. It's here nearby.
Okay.
So thank you for the session, and yeah. So we got a lot of students here. I think someone already raised their hand. Yeah, we go to the questions.
So Sean, this is one thing like I'll probably try and work with you on the entrepreneurship event of IEEE. So how we can contribute and see what we can do further.
Sure. So Devi, someone raised their hand for question.
Yeah, Meenakshi, you may turn on your mic and ask question.
Sure, thank you. So I'll start with introducing myself. Myself, Meenakshi A R. I'm from Muthoot Institute of Technology and Science. I'm currently the Vice Chair of IEEE SB MITS. So, sir, my question to you was, you have mentioned a lot of academic institutes that, help for like sensor development startups and all that. And I would like to know how we as students could like contribute towards it. Like, is there any portal that we could go to like check upon what are the projects that's happening, or like how we can like contribute towards it?
Okay, good question, but the answer is not very straightforward. The reason is, I'll give you the reasons later. I'll just give you the answer right. The way you can do that is, you see the various institutes I have mentioned. Each one of these institutes has a sensors body, academic body, either associated with IEEE or something else. So easiest way is reach out to them and then reach out to the faculties who are working on these projects. First thing. Second, reach out to Sean because he's part of the entrepreneurship ecosystem and he's a good representative. So he'll probably be able to provide you additional more information and some marketing for his IIST, which he works on. So he probably can support you there also, specific to what communication technologies or computer technologies are happening. And now if you want to specifically look, there's not much portal as such where it is maintained. But if you look at the portal that IISc maintains called iSTEM for various equipments that are needed, and you can also look at the INUP portal, Indian National Nano Users Program, right? So if you look at that portal, you will also get a lot of information, various sensors that they're working on that. Otherwise, the way which I would recommend you all to do is, each of these IITs, IISc, IIST, IISERs, NIISERs, and NITs, each of their department have a list of faculty, and many faculty maintain their own websites about the various projects and sensors that they're working on. If you go through these, you will get a lot of information on the work they do. Second, look at the various publications these faculty members are doing along with their students. And generally, at the end of each paper, they will tell you what they're going to focus next in the future or what are the future prospects of this work. There also, you will get to know what are the various sensors that you can work on, where you can build and take it forward. With each of these, now you can contribute in understanding how these sensors are made, how can you commercialize it, how can you learn about it, and others. At the student level, I would definitely encourage that you first get an understanding of the physics of the sensors, the chemistry of the sensors, and then go into the sensor development, because each of these sensors predominantly have a physics and chemistry allocated with that. And once you understand the physics and chemistry, you can apply that knowledge to almost all the sensors, and you would see there is a good overlap among them. So I hope I answered that question, Meenakshi.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much.
Any other questions? Okay.
Javed, you might have noticed the Meenakshi is from Muthoot, the institution which is going to host you on Friday.
Thank you. I did note. I will
Yeah.
remember that. Nancy said she's the vice chair of the SP.
Please,
So
yeah.
we will be very. I will be quickly contacting her for other things.
So, are you coming for the Trident event, sir?
Yes, I'll be coming for the Trident event. My talk is at 3 o'clock.
Oh, okay, okay. Oh, that's pretty
The
good.
keynote speaker. Yeah,
I hope to
I'll
meet
be
you
there.
that day.
I hope you don't take leave that day because it's a long
Oh,
weekend.
sir. I'm part of the guest committee, so I'll be there for sure.
I think we have a question from Bharath. I hope it's Bharath Krishna. Go ahead.
So, like, if for a person who has basic knowledge about the engineering that is taught in college level, in which they use like basic sensors and basic things that was taught in the 90s on old syllabus. So, how could we get into startup which are actually innovating in new sensors or new technologies that is far beyond the current syllabus that we are in? Like, how could we grasp into that, or how could we get into that technology or that tech stack?
That's a nice question, Bharat, but the answer is very simple. See, most sensors, like I said, work on only two principles: the physics of it and the chemistry of it. And the physics and chemistry is basically your 11th and 12th standard chemistry, nothing more complex than that. There will be some exceptions where you're doing extremely complex biological chemistry, but apart from that, all the other sensors are fairly easy to understand and follow. So what you need to do is you need to basically understand, if you need to work on the sensors platform, understand what these sensors are doing. For that, you need to gather some tools that you need to understand. So some of the tools would be, how does the sensor work? What do you need to ensure the sensor works properly? Does it need electricity to work on? Can you make sensors work without power? How many of them are biological sensors? So when you answer each of these questions as a student, right, it will become very clear to you. And one thing what I have seen at least in the last couple of years is sensors are being built by students even from the 11th and 12th standard in various institutes. So the knowledge that you currently have is great enough to follow, just that you need to be a little more focused with the kind of work that you are doing, and a little more focused about how you want to spend your free available time on learning technology. If you are able to spend that time, I don't think being in either second year or third year with the 90s technology being taught in college should not hinder your opportunity or growth of learning. So I'm pretty sure it will be great and easily useful for you all. Just try to keep learning. Every time you find something, go learn about it. Any sensor that you find across, try and learn and see. And during that learning phase, you will actually appreciate a lot more and you learn a lot more.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Bharat.
We had another hand raised. Rahul?
Hello, hello. I hope I'm clear.
Yeah,
Yes.
you are.
Okay. Good afternoon, sir. My name is Rahul. I'm the
Mhm.
chair of IEEE SB at Jyoti Engineering College. First of all, thank you for taking such an informative session. So my question was, what is the best platform to study more about these sensors so we can develop our own? And how can we increase the knowledge in order to build up a startup of our own from in sensors? Because recently, when I was doing my mini projects, I found that there were a lack of sensors for for currently building my mini project, and I couldn't find a platform to create a sensor of my own.
Okay, that's a wonderful question. In fact, if you go into the industry and academia space, right, there are already existing platforms that the government has set up. They may not be familiar to a lot of people. But one thing I would do is, don't you think this is an opportunity itself for you? If you don't see a platforms and sensors, you should probably build a platform for the sensors. That can be a startup. If you build that platform, all the other sensor developers will probably come onto your platform and scale from that side. Don't you think that's a great opportunity for you?
Yes, sir.
So if you don't find too many platforms, that means time to build a platform.
Okay, sir.
So probably in 5 years' time, I should probably hear that somebody by name Rahul R Nair has created a platform for sensors that can be scaled and built and prototyped and validated and whatnot. Sure.
Oh, yeah, yes, sir. Of course.
Okay. I would like to hear from you in 5 years' time saying you have built it. I'll be really happy.
I'll try my best, sir. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Yes, Nandana.
Hello, sir. Myself, Nandana. I'm the chairperson of IIS, IEEE SBC. So my question is, you earlier said that you kind of avoided the event parts of the organization or a college fest. But as a person who is actively involved in startup or who wants to build a startup, how do you manage that session between a technical expert and a people manager? If you are not very much involved in events or event committees, how do you manage that in a startup?
You see, it is. I would say you should get involved early in college. I'm glad that you are involved with IEEE on the technical front. You will slowly get to learn how to manage people. See, technical management and people manage are two different things. Many people do both, but some people are natural at either one of them. If you are one of the naturals, please go to the natural ones. Don't force yourself into learning something the other. In due course, you will learn. The generally who are people managers rarely want to become technical managers. Technical managers over a period of time will be forced to become people managers as they grow in an organization or something. So this is one thing will come. And with regards to finances, right? One of the reasons I didn't go into finance was I was not good in at that point of time. I was not good in having a conversation where I successfully sell something and get money out of it. I learned that, I trained myself, I taught myself that later when I joined IISc, but during college days, it was not. And I realized that if you are not able to convince your own people to pay money, how can you convince a customer to pay money and take your product? So that was one of the biggest learning for me, and said, yes, I have to learn to sell. I have to learn to convince. I have to learn to make people pay money for the products or services that I'm selling. Only then I can be called as an entrepreneur. Otherwise, I am not. So later what I said was, in the meantime, I said, instead of becoming an entrepreneur, it was easier for me to become a coach. So now I do a lot of coaching. I coach people and I help them win. So I feel more pride there that helping other people win is giving me more satisfaction than me winning alone. Yeah, I need to win myself, but I prefer going along with people, like I said, right? Networking and build. So you build your ecosystem and the ecosystem will help you grow. It's a longish answer, but I hope you got the context of how do you build. You need to learn some things over a period of time.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, we have a few more hands raised. And
Hello, sir. My name is Theressa, and thank you for the very informative session. What I'd like to ask you is, how is the development that's happening in artificial intelligence influencing the sensors market, the industry? How are the developments boosting the sensors industry?
Okay, wonderful. Before, uh, before you don't have sensors, you don't have data for you to take a call or take a decision. So with the incoming of IoT, right, a lot of sensors started being used in industry, in agriculture, in every other place. So as you used a sensor to detect something, you started getting data. And once you got data, you got a data processor which will help you process. And once the data processor came in, you gave it a decision logic. It says, okay, these based upon these inputs and these metrics, you can take a decision for a particular activity. And after the decision matrix came, then said, okay, now these look to be machine readable and machine operating systems. So why not? So that is when the AI came in and said, now that I have this entire ecosystem available, I have the ecosystem of the sensors, I have the ecosystem of the data processor, I have the ecosystem of the decision logic, and now I will make use of all of these to build. So even AI needed an ecosystem for itself to build. It took some time, but now it does have that ecosystem. So now you can either add to the ecosystem or you can build or complement to the ecosystem and still go forward. That way you will have a lot of opportunity for you, and you will not be impacted by AI that much in the sensors domain. In fact, the coming of AI will add more sensors into the system. A lot of edge AI, AI analytics, data processing at the edge, all of these will now come into the picture and will gain more prominence because of a lot of sensors being used and each of the sensors generating a lot of data. Next question.
Risna, you may ask.
Hi sir, I'm Risna Jaleel. I am Vice Chair of SB at SEC Karnataka. First of all, the session was very fruitful and gained a lot of knowledge. And my question is that how can early career engineers move from a job to entrepreneurship in sensors? Is it advisable to gain industry experience before starting a sensor-based business?
Tough question, difficult question. Okay. So here is my take on it. I will not say that's the right thing. This is my take on it. Whenever you're building a sensor-based system, right, you need to see is somebody actually willing to pay for that solution? Is there an actual need to have a sensors-based solution there? A lot of the times we see that, okay, we have built it, but we really don't know whether somebody is willing to pay for it, and the startup closes. So come up with a business model where you actually see something. So I do an activity called business model canvas as part of the design thinking workshop. So in the business model canvas, we write where do you see the inputs for your business, where do you see the outputs for your business, what are the expenses, what are the possible in revenue. And when we do this activity, it will come out whether this is a net positive effect is there. Okay. So if there is a net positive effect, you go and build your business. If there is no net positive effect, you make changes to your plan and your business revenue model till it becomes net positive. If it is net negative, then though you might see some revenue in the beginning, it will not be sustainable for you. Sustainability again becomes a challenge. So you should see if it is a long-standing problem or a short-standing problem before you go into a sensors business.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for the response.
Sure.
Since we have extended the time slot, I think we'll wind up here. The other students may reach out to sir via LinkedIn or email. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Javed, for the insightful session. Now, I kindly request everyone to turn on your cameras for a quick group photograph. So it will only take a second. Please turn your cameras on.